Hey guys, Ranchin here, bringing you on another commentary. Did I say commentary? I meant commentary. This is going to be the losers match in Group H of the Ro32 of the Hana Daetoo MSL 2010. This is going to be between Stats and Movie on Ro32, where Stats is going to channel his RPGs, his strength bonus, which comes from his Daetoo and stuff like that. While Movie is going to try to take him to the movies. So we're going to have Stat at the bottom right-hand corner as the orange protoss. We're going to have Movie at the upper left-hand corner as the yellow protoss. Very bluish, like the color of the ocean. Just like in the movies. Oh, God. Nuke and his voices. Nuke should try growling. Let's see how what that does for his throat. Anyway, 40, 41, 42. So, well, you know, this is kind of what I expected, really. I don't know why, but between Stats and Shuttle, I really did not know which was going to win. I felt it was pretty equal overall, even though Stats has been playing pretty decently lately. He's gotten quite good, but just don't think he also did perform pretty well last MSL. So I did not really know where he was going to go. You know, I thought that was going to go either way. And between Beast and Movie, I think it was the same thing. So I pretty much expected. This is no surprise to me that what the winners and the losers matches were. So here, however, I fully expect Movie to win this. I mean, Movie's stats in PvP is nothing really like to look at when you check it out. But he is a player who has significantly improved lately. In the last year, he has significantly improved as a player in all his matchups. He's very much his best matchup by far is his versus Zerg, but he's still very good versus Terran, very good versus Protoss. The problem used to be with him is that he was very inconsistent. Against Zerg, he could win, but against Terran and Protoss, he was extremely inconsistent, and some of that still shines through, unfortunately, particularly in the individual leagues where they really need his help. But apparently in the Pro League, I meant to say, where it, unfortunately becomes a problem. But in individual leagues, he seems to shine through sometimes and just brings the better games here. So I fully expect him to beat Stats as long as he just plays his good old standard game. He has a very strong macro when he gets going to the late game, if it should come to that. But he also has very good micromanagement. He has some nice shuttle play. So overall, I just think he is a better player. Mind you, better players often lose. But I expect him to beat Stats in this position here. Good old standard, that's usually what I call one gateway, 7 core, Zealot, Probe Scouts coming off. It's just, to me, that's PvP, and it's just good old standard. That's really much all you can say. Just good old standard PvP. So that's just what we're going to be seeing from each other. It looks pretty much the same as what we saw in the winners match. Both players are going to just 7 core. We're going to see whether they follow this up with getting this robotics facility right afterwards, or what. And the Stats doing a pretty decent job keeping that probe alive in there. Both players have their probes inside, just managing to keep those alive as long as humanly possible. We want to keep that scout alive until the goon comes out. We want to make sure that happens. Also try to scout whether it's going to be range upgraded or not. Mind you, you could land yourself in a fake out, but still try to spot the moment that the 7 core starts spinning. Ooh, Movie there, getting in trouble, getting a couple of shots on him. Gonna have to run away a little bit more, be a little bit more careful and all. And I want to give some practical advice to you guys. If you have some cold tea left over and you want to heat it up, don't do it in the microwave. Yeah, because that's just gonna end up. Because I tend to forget that cups, porcelain heats all over for some reason. I guess it's just physics, common sense maybe. But yeah, so you will end up picking up your cup with your finger, and you will end up burning yourself. And that's a little bit uncomfortable, mind you. Some cold water for a couple of minutes and some aloe vera. It'll alleviate the pain, but your finger will still be uncomfortable after the burn for like a week. So it won't be horrible as long as you didn't hold on to it for too long, but it'll still be a little bit uncomfortable. So there's Ranchin's uncomfortable things in life. Well, Ranchin's practical advice corner or such, if you will. So both players are getting their Brox facilities up. We're going to see whether it's just going to be very standard play, getting those initial reavers out there. Might see observatories before robotic support base. Both players just playing very standard, getting their couple of Dragoons, getting their Zealots inside. Movie also putting down pylons all over the place so he can spot Reavers coming in shuttles inside of his main, just in case there's something like that going to be happening. Stats actually moving one of his probes up there, but that's instantly pushing them back, trying to move in again. Stats is going to be getting his Nexus alongside of his Observatory. We're going to see what Movie goes for. We're going to see whether Movie actually goes for Robotic Support Bay beforehand, or whether he's going to do exactly the same thing. He is going to be putting down his Nexus, so probably going to be putting down his Observatory alongside. It's just safer to get your if you're going to be quickly expanding, it's just safer to get your Observatory quickly. Stats going to add in a couple extra gateways just now. Quite a bit late. Both players playing heavy econ, low unit games. I mean, at this point in the game, 5 minutes in, 5.5 minutes in, only 3 goons and 2 zealots. Usually you see 2 gateways pumping at this point. Still don't see an observatory out there for Movie, although I'm assuming it's there. Going to snipe one of those probes. Going to make sure there's not going to be a scout coming inside of his base. Going to pop an observer out there, so you definitely get that observatory going. Both players going to have an observer flying across the map. Getting some scouting going. Still don't see any robotic support bays from other players, so we're going to see whether stats actually decide to, whether both players decide to put down Citadel Dunes instead. Movie is going to go for the robotic support bay, so definitely going to go for it. We're going to see whether it's going to be the same for stats on the opposite side, or whether he's going to go for Citadel Dunes. Still don't see any hard tech coming in from him. He's just getting his natural expansion going. Is producing more units through a higher gateway, I think. More gateways. I think he has more gateways on the ground than Movie, although I might have misspotted that. I think Movie's had only 1, should have 2 at this point at least. Second similar coming out there, so Movie might be thinking of putting on some pressure. Has an observer coming into that natural. Pretty equal unit, so I don't think any significant pressure is going to come out to second and third gateway just now come down there for Movie, so he's going to be a little bit behind in units. Definitely not going to be able to push this, and just observers popping on the opposite side for stats. Not good for any additional tech so far. Just getting some observers out there, being very careful to spot everything out. Getting the full scout. Does know that he's facing Reavers, so his higher unit count really going to come in handy here. But if Movie utilizes his Reavers wall, which he very well can, he has extremely good Reaver micro. If he utilizes it well, he could really come ahead, because a couple of scarabs, no matter if your opponent has even 50% the army you do, you have 10 goons, he has 15. If you just a couple of clutch scarabs will bring you back that game. Stats, meanwhile, going for Citadel of Adun, so he's going to try to get some storms out there. Only for him, I feel it's going to be late. It's not going to have the same result that it had in Shuttle versus Bisu. Bisu had his Reaver significantly later. He had more units on the ground, but his Reaver significantly later. He teched up a little bit later, and he seemed to kind of mess up his tech, getting more tech than he wanted to, getting Citadel of Adun and Temple Archives alongside as well, getting a little bit of everything. While here Stats is actually getting his Temple Archives a little bit later than Shuttle was. They're not as early, a little bit behind. But he has a lot of army down there. But unfortunately for him, Movie's going to be able to utilize those Reavers pretty soon. We're going to see whether he's going to wait on his second one before he decides to go out there and try to push inside of Stats' base. Stats going to have more Dragoons, but as I say, he's not going to have any higher tech units to support. So the only thing Movie has to do is keep his Reavers in there, get some nice Scarabs off, and keep that Shuttle alive. And as long as that happens, he's going to be able to pick off that army of Stats. Stats even adding more gateways, just going to keep his macro up. On the opposite side, Movie, I think he still was 4. I'm going to see who's adding in his fifth and sixth gateways yet. Movie, of course, a player that's very powerful on the macro, but also has very nice micro for himself as well. I think he was putting it down. Citadel Doom being put on right now. So he's also going to start working on higher tech. He has to just be very careful not be caught in a sort of a teching trap like Bisu was. Bisu kind of had a little bit too much tech than he really wanted. Only 4 gateways going to be pumping out. Him has that Shuttle in there. I assume he went back to pick up a second Reaver. So we're going to see whether this is going to be the opportunity for him to go out there and do something aggressive. Try to go out there at the front, do some damage. Forge going to come up for stats. So he's also going to try to get the upgrade advantage by getting that Forge a little bit earlier. He's going to have a higher army. Does have some high Templars out there. It's going to take him a little while to get some energy up there. So if Movie moves in right now, he's going to catch stats before he gets those upgrades going. Forge and Silvadoon for stats for Movie as well. Does have the Temple Archives coming in. Movie going to move in here. Shuttle alongside a huge amount of Dragoons. 2 Reavers inside. Scarab is going to come out there, melt that, completely melt that grouping of Dragoons there on the bottom. 1 Scarab come up. I think it actually hit those, but Movie coming on significantly ahead here. Still has very little else but Dragoons. But Shuttle, full of Reavers, he's going to go and they're going to start getting a lot of Scarabs off. And unfortunately, no Storms up there, I think, yet for stats. Not quite sure what has enough. Does have... Okay, wow. Storming himself. Wow, that was one... I assume that was one just very, very bad misclick. Because what it is, he stormed himself, then instantly morphed into an Archon to attempt to survive that. Stats going to come in from behind, but those Reavers melt all of his troops. And I think that was just one, yes, GG, one horrific misclick there from Stats, I think that was. And just saw the look on his face 2 seconds after. It was like, oh, give me a break. So unfortunately for him, he's going to get knocked out here. So GG guys, Rich enough that's listening. Hope you enjoyed. Going to bring you the final match right now.